Welcome to Voices in Hyperspace. This is a podcast where friends get together to discuss all things sci-fi. Our main mission is to watch, explore, and review the hit TV show from the 90s, Babylon 5. Legendary Black Lion.
I'm Mel Asylum.
I'm Nita, the painter.
Hey y'all, it's Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been gone for a little while. We've had some personal things going on and life be lifing, but we're here now. And we just watched an amazing episode of Babylon 5. Damian, do you know what episode we're on? Because I think we're getting close to the end of season 1.
Yeah, it's episode 19. A Voice in the Wilderness Part 2. So yeah. Since we all got to watch this together, what are some of y'all's impressions? Just the overall episode.
I thought it was the best episode we've watched so far.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I want to watch it again.
Oh, I kind of felt like it was one of those episodes explaining that there's more out there than we understand. And we're not ready for it because we still act like toddlers.
I had a particular impression of it, and it just shows, I guess you would say, the overall conflict of the show, which this is going to be a spoiler for people who already watched it, but if you haven't watched it, then you don't know what I'm talking about. Cool. But it's like there is like a kind of paternalism that is presented. But then there's also another power struggle between whether military authoritarianism is appropriate or if diplomacy is important. And there is a third way that the aliens on the planet present, and I'll get into that when we get there because it's pretty interesting. But I mean, it's Babylon 5. It's a space opera. It's in a space station, and there's only so much people can do, right?
Yeah.
But I do like that the story is moving forward. We got human characters, we got alien characters. It's not very much centered on any specific alien though. However, I do remember in this episode Jakar is strangely missing. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but he's not in there. And neither is Lanier. I think when we originally attempted to record this, someone brought up Lanier.
His hearing is not the best. So yeah, he missed the voice.
Yeah, he missed the voice. It was interesting. So the previous episode ended with the Hyperion just coming out the gate talking, and the captain talking about, hey, I'm gonna take over command for Babylon 5. So move aside, Sinclair. I'm the big man in charge. And the audience is like, oh no. Because I mean, think about it, military wise, it's like someone with a higher rank is coming in to take over. That means that whatever is going on with our regular cast is probably going to get shook up in a wild way. And it does get shaken up. Some of the conflicts are Sinclair's conflict with the captain of the Hyperion, Ellis Pierce, the aliens that are from Epsilon, their conflict with, the rest of the characters and everybody else. And they don't really say it out explicitly, but potentially the other ambassadors' conflict with humans and being able to have access to the technology on the planet. So those are some of the big things going on. Am I missing anything?
Yes, the conflict with the Martians versus the humans, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one of the breadcrumbs that does push the story forward, because the whole thing with the Martians is been going on in the background for several episodes now, along with President Santiago. And there's an ISN broadcast explaining that President Santiago is stepping up the force required to quell the rioting on Mars. So Earth and Earth Force is getting more directly involved, and they're trying to like shut down the pro Mars movement. And we learned this on the television while Garibaldi is watching from a bar, and he gets
ain't an alcoholic.
Right. Was this the episode where Londo was talking about water, or am I mixing up an episode?
No, this isn't that episode.
Okay, maybe it's in season 2.
No, he we already watched it. He was in the bar and Londo came by and Garibaldi bought him. He ordered a drink while he was sitting with Garibaldi, give him some advice, and then walk off, leaving Garibaldi to pay for the drink.
It. Yeah,
that was a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. No, there's a specific line that I'm thinking of, and I guess it's in a later episode. But this instance was Mr. Garibaldi at his best, isn't it, Sunday?
Yeah. According to Nita, yeah.
Whoa, that was some deflection.
I mean, yeah, he was A1, top flight. You know, if being a cop is the worst thing that anybody can do, he is the best at it.
Because Garibaldi, he has an interaction with the anti-Mars civilian on Babylon 5, and this is like an average Joe who's just shooting off at the mouth, saying we should gas all of them, let the whole thing get over with. The Earth pays their taxes, this and that. And Garibaldi is just like, okay, cool, I get it. I'm worried about Mars. I understand that you're not. And then the guy keeps mouthing off, and Garibaldi is just like, screw it. And he just starts police brutality. Using police brutality. I'm trying to make it a verb, but it's not working. But he uses police brutality and beats up the guy. And it was a very
fashion. Consequences 0. Rewards. Right. A phone call to your girlfriend on Mars.
Right.
Oh, don't forget to scratch my back. And we'll talk about that back scratching later in the episode.
Oh, no.
Sinclair?
Yep.
No, Sinclair is the commander. He came and was like, yo, you can't be beating people up in the bar. You know that's frowned upon. But they're not pressing charges. So we just need you to chill out. I got a call from your girlfriend. You know, we're going to let you take that call later. But we got some serious business going on with this alien planet because it's angry and it is gonna explode on us. And so we got all these, thousands of people on Babylon 5, but we only gonna get hundreds off. So just make sure Ivanova is the last one. Okay, wink wink. That's what happened. Yeah.
Man, I really wish we would just do like a perspective of these episodes in Sunday's voice, because the way she tells it is just so
verbatim.
Different.
Yeah.
like the voiceovers that they did for X-Men where they got Juggernaut bitch from.
Oh yeah, yep. Hit me my pit cane. That was just the funny thing is that was like that episode took too long. They did the whole episode. Anyway, so Sinclair. Yeah, a lot is going on with Sinclair. Because of the conflict and the different crises that are happening. He goes ahead and he contacts Senator Hiroshi. Senator Hiroshi is the incompetent senator representative that Sinclair always talks to, and he's the one that gives Sinclair absolutely nothing to work with. And Sinclair is like, look, I'm not going to share absolute authority with Pierce because he's just coming in and
He's a bully.
right. And I like that actor. He comes through very clear. He's very angry. He's very forceful. You realize he's very serious business, and there's some trouble with his methods, right? Sinclair is like, barring an order from the president, I'm not going to share any authority with this guy. And Hiroshi is just like kind of like brushing it off, and then he's just like, he's like, it's no big deal, you know. You just go with the flow. And Sinclair is just like, nah, man. I'm just gonna quit because screw this. And then that's when Hiroshi kind of backs off, and he says that he's going to do what he can, right? Which is something. Is not the nothing he was planning on doing.
It probably is the nothing that he was planning on doing.
I mean, he actually
do something now, because if Sinclair quits on his watch, I'm pretty sure shit rolls downhill. Something like that.
Yeah. Which this kind of makes me. Go ahead.
I've told that to people. It's like, I'm already doing as much as I can, so I'm going to let you know that I'm gonna do what I can, so that you have some peace, or as much peace as I can honestly give you. And normally these people are 3 years old, so
okay, all right, but yeah. While all that's going on, it makes me think a little bit more about the politics of Earth politics. Because Santiago is the Earth president. And so these are Earth senators. And it just makes me wonder what the whole structure is. Are these people with symbolic roles, or are they actually doing things? Hiroshi doesn't seem to want to do anything that he can do. So it just made me curious. The other thing that's going on is the Hyperion. It decides that it's going to head to Epsilon 4. So Captain Pierce is like, I'm about to go down there. Doesn't tell anybody, doesn't ask any questions.
What we talking about? It's going to be our advanced technology. We're going to have the upper hand on all the other aliens, and they ain't never going to jack with us again.
Right. And if they want a piece, they got to bargain with us. And apparently
and the planet was like, not today, Pierce.
Hold on, wait. Because they don't even get that far. Because Sinclair lies to Pierce. Pierce is like, hey, we didn't need to talk to you. We got your flight pattern, we got your previous report. Let's go. And Sinclair is just like, but you don't have our very sophisticated jamming device that helped us get down there. Pierce is like, I want to have this jamming device. Give it over. He's like, we got to get it fixed. And that saves him a few more minutes, right? And I thought that was pretty funny because he lied to him to kind of... That's what Sinclair does. He buys time finding loopholes. And if he can't find the loophole, he just straight up lies to stall for time. And later on, Pierce actually does leave. He's in a Hyperion and he's like marching towards the planet. Is this when Sinclair was about to open fire on the Hyperion?
The planet did clap back the first time that Pierce tried to go down.
Right.
And then Sinclair was like, yo, you don't have this whatever thing you called it just a second ago, and you need that in order to go down safely. But he was lying. He was trying to figure out how to stop the planet from killing all of Babylon 5. Because if Empyrean does go down and tries to call the planet's bluff, they're able to get out of Dodge in time. And we already know that Pierce don't give a damn about the people on Babylon.
Right.
So he was going to do it either way. And that's where Sinclair got really clever with his, what do you call it, babe? Where it's not
the
lying,
device.
but it's but Damien likes to call
embellishing
fluffy stuff. Oh, that's what we're calling it.
He was embellishing the truth. He was bending the rules. He was stretching reality.
There we go. So he did.
Sometimes he embellished. This was a straight up lie. He does embellish sometimes. Like
So he
He
did
was
all that acrobats with
he
his conversation
he was
and got him,
withholding information.
and it bought him some time in order
He
for
did
us
a
to
whole
find out
floor routine.
yes,
We at
that
the Olympics now. I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
No, it's cool.
no,
It's
So it's
you're
cool.
like
good.
when
That's so funny.
I feel like when he actually finds a loophole in something where he has an actual truth and holds it over someone, that might be more of an embellishing than
Okay, yeah.
what he did this time, because this time he was just straight up lying.
He straight up lied. He straight up invented something that doesn't exist. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the jamming. I guess if you want to think about it, what's that guy's name? The alien. It's,
Drac or something?
no, Drawl is the Minbari,
Oh,
and
okay.
the
Okay.
guy's
Yes.
name starts with a V. I can't remember his name.
Vaughn? Was it Vaughn?
Maybe.
Victor,
The
Velma, Velocity,
the
Violet.
Varn. And maybe was it Varn?
Vaughn.
Fine. There we go.
You know
Good
what?
job, Nita.
We are
Yes.
Thank
For
you. Yeah.
100.
Let me do what I used to do and pull up Google and
Yeah.
have the cast in front of me, so that because I don't remember names, but
Yeah, I'm
I can
having
pull up
trouble.
Google.
I'm having trouble too.
Let's
But
roll with Varn for the moment. And so, what were you saying about Varn?
he is quote unquote a damaged jamming device. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so you're
Is this
saying that
about
Vaughn
to-
is the jamming device,
I
but it's
mean,
not the jamming device they did. They didn't need the jamming device to get down, but to say that he's the jamming device that'll get us down there because they were able to get down there easily when they brought him back.
if we want to turn the
Oh.
truth
So
into a
technically, he
pretzel,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, which is what Sinclair does. So,
yeah,
okay. Look, if we had to discuss this episode
yeah.
twice, watch the episode twice to figure that out.
There we go.
I'm mad that
Yeah.
it took me that long to figure that out. Like, this is a show
That's
you can watch
kind of
several
cool.
times and learn something new.
There we
Now,
go.
while we are bending reality for this, please don't go down to this planet to get us all nexted. That is when the Minbari couple were in the hallway, and is that Drawl or Drac?
Yeah, is Drawl and Delin, which
Drawl
yeah.
hears the voice call him to the infirmary.
Wait, he doesn't just
Mhm.
hear a voice; he sees him. Like there was a part we did skip. Like they brought this
I
dusty alien
see
off of the
you.
planet.
Mm-mm.
Oh my
Walking in
god!
the hallway.
They brought this dusty old alien off the planet, put him in med bay, special
Are
atmosphere.
we back to the ageism, love? Okay, let's go.
He's over 500 years old. Dude is old. OLD.
But
Geriatric.
does he have
Says
to be
you.
dusty?
Look,
He was dusty.
we can say Delen's weird friend is old because he called himself old.
Yes.
But are we talking? We're talking about the machine's consciousness, the machine's host. If he's old,
Yes. The
Yeah.
machine's host is old.
He's
Compared.
500 years old, and he actually states later that we haven't gotten into that the machine is what kept him alive.
Yes.
So he's actually lived longer than his species is supposed to, which I would define as old. That would.
We'll do this. He's old compared to the other characters by several centuries.
Yeah, except for what's his name? We
several
don't know.
centuries.
Yes. And
Fire-
Drawl is really old too.
His name is old. Drawl.
It is old.
Put an S at the end.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Whenever we get through with whether they're old or not, you were saying that they were seen walking in the hallway.
They were walking the hallway. Varn calls Drawl. Drawl is like, all right, let's go to med bay. And it's just really weird because when they do get to med bay, this doesn't happen in order, y'all. But y'all, if y'all watch the episode, y'all know. But when they get to med bay, Dr. Franklin, which hey, it's a Dr. Franklin episode. He's very serious, very stern. He has his doctor hat on. He's being an obstacle, but there's a very specific reason because Drawl, with no S, Drawl is dying. He's been confirmed by the doctor, and they're like, "You're not supposed to be in here."
Vaughn is dying.
I'm
And
sorry,
Draw is trying to
Varn.
get
Yeah,
to
I'm
him.
sorry. Thank you for fixing that for me. Varn is dying for a very specific reason. They have to create an atmosphere to keep him alive. Drawl and Delin show up, and they're just like, I mean, they're there, which I mean, the Minbari are very spiritual, so we'll just go with it. They feel this call pulling and tugging at. It makes me think about their culture. It makes me think about Dr. Franklin because my original observation about him is he's not being like the character, the actor, he's coming across like a sitcom doctor. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? He's not like a foil for the characters. He's actually taking care of his patient,
Yeah.
which is pretty, it's pretty good.
Yeah. He's a stereotypical doctor and not. He's just being a generic doctor. I get the feeling that I get from this whole episode is that they got one of the writers who's not writing the main story to fill in to write this episode. It does give us some lore. It does kind of like hint at a lot of things that's supposed to happen that could have just been in the series Bible that they used to make this episode, and they gave them a two-parter, and I didn't feel like it added to anything. It just continued. It broadened a little bit of the things that we know when it comes to the politics, but it doesn't give us any more lore. Obviously, it's the lore of the planet being there, but that doesn't even affect anything because at the end of the day, they start over again, like a sitcom.
Well,
him going down there kind of resets things as far as that planet is concerned.
Yeah.
Mars is a whole nother story. But no, all of the characters are still there. Like if Londo had ended up, making a different decision based on what they said, then things would have been different. But you end up with the same cast. Like, I don't know.
I like your point.
Starting over again. Yeah.
I like your point. That you are making a really good point. They only bring in these other aliens to kill them, but none of the main characters die. No one goes to jail. But there is like one more. No.
Do they change?
The only thing that changes is Earth Force relationship to the planet.
Oh.
They're interested in it, but then they realize they can't have it.
Right. And, which kind of doesn't change things.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
If they had gotten possession of the planet, that would have brought everybody into a war,
Yeah.
It would have actually, it wouldn't be going to, they would all be fighting, but Babylon 5 would be gone.
Yeah.
And who knows if they build a 6.
Right. Showrunners might this next
couple
of years, but we'll see.
Yeah. And they were saying like if Babylon 5 doesn't succeed in their mission, then they don't know what's going to happen to the universe. Everyone's going to start fighting again.
Yes. Yep.
So,
the captain sure doesn't seem to understand how important that is because he's just like, we have to show a force of power. We are not powerful. The humans stay getting beat up, but you steady want to fight.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, especially when it's just orders. And why would Santiago am I saying his name wrong? I don't want to say his name.
It doesn't matter.
Why would the president of Earth be that risky? Like y'all remember being demolished not that long ago.
Ooh. Yeah, just 10 years, right?
Right.
Entitlement, arrogance. What's another word, Nita? I feel redundant today.
I
Yeah,
feel
this is like the answer to that question we were talking about the other day.
so it's
Mm.
kind
Every
of like
time
if
it starts a mess.
they're like determined that if they can get possession of the planet, that they're going to have an upper hand on everyone. When that might not necessarily be true. Like,
Well,
as
especially
far as we know, other than its planetary defenses, all we know is that they can scan a lot of shit.
right,
And we don't
because
The
the thing that
ability to
happens. Oh,
scan. I'm sorry. Go ahead, love.
you go ahead.
I was gonna say I mean, is it okay for me to say that the alien planet that only had one example of the species on it, like a whole starship full of them show up on the scene,
Yeah, that's what
and they
happens
have
next.
that bright light that like shines inside of like all of Babylon and the spaceships, and they learn English in like 20 seconds.
Yep.
And what do they do with a violent language? They incite violence. They like, yo, this is what it is. So this is our planet. This is our tech. We've been looking for it for 500 years. Thank you for sending out the beacon, but we home now. Y'all got 20 minutes to get the hell off our porch.
and then and then Pierce, with his genius self, is like, well, look, we been here before y'all. We gonna go down and we gonna take that planet, and y'all need to back off.
Colonizers.
And y'all got 9 hours. Now what, son? I just served you, son.
I double dog dare you.
Oh, what was Ivanova's response to that? Do y'all remember?
I am God. No, I don't. Remind me.
She said this is the most severe case of testosterone poisoning that she's ever seen.
That was hilarious. She has the best lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just real quick, those aliens, they said that they were the ones that were lost for 500 years. Now they found the planet, they're going to claim it. Sinclair is told by Varn, like, yeah, I'm not part of that planet no more. It's gonna self-destruct. Somebody needs to be down there. And they still have the whole rule of anybody who approaches the planet is going to get shot down, basically. And so they're in this three-way, this standoff. And we hear about the Great Machine. They talk about the Guardian is like the heart of it, yada yada yada. The way they found Varn, he was in the machine, and they had to have this really like dramatic pose. He's like his arms are up and all that stuff. So now what we have is whoever possesses the planet has a wealth of knowledge and a lot of force. Two different factions want it. Sinclair's like, nah, y'all can go down there. And we're trying to also figure out like who's gonna take the place of the Guardian. So all of that's going on. Then just down the the next thing that happens, the folks are trying to figure out like when I say folks, it's like the Minbari. They're trying to figure out who's gonna help them get down to the planet. Cause that their whole thing is like we're gonna take Varn back, right? And who do the Minbari find?
Doesn't he just walk up on
What
them?
is his name? It's not Jakar.
Lando,
Londo, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, Londo just walks
Londo
up
to
on
the
him.
rescue.
Yeah. And
Because Londo's hearing aid works.
say that
You
again.
said what?
Heard the call. Londo's hearing aid works. He heard the call.
Did he see a
yeah, he saw
Yeah,
He
the
said he
remember
heard
he was
him.
hologram.
like, yo. And then he also was asking Ivanova why they were being secretive. What's really going on? Tell me the truth, girl. And she was like, yo, boom,
We about to die.
boom, 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 boom.
She ain't lied.
She didn't lie because they've been shooting.
Yeah, she just put him in a colorful fashion.
Yeah. So that exchange happens, and Londo agrees to take Draw Varn. and the Lin down to the planet. And I think the reasoning was since he's an ambassador, he's not any of the other parties, so nobody would exactly know it was them going. But so y'all explained before, like in the last when we originally tried to record this, he has a purple shuttle, which I think that's the only time we saw his shuttle too, like ever. But he has a purple shuttle and he's going down. Ivanova doesn't really know who it is, but what I was hung up on was the interior of the shuttle because it's very decorative on the inside. It's still purple. And it's like lacy and doily and all that stuff.
It's Londo. It's Londo and Barbie.
It's very Londo.
It's very Londo. And I'm sorry, but this this reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy. Who is the main villain?
Which
the Grand Master. It was the Grand Master, and he had a special ship for his birthday party. That's what Londo's ship reminded me of for some reason.
I feel that. Is that the same guy that is from? It's not Nowhere. What is the one where the Hulk and somebody gets
Sakaar.
lost?
Oh, yeah, it's Planet Hulk, but they couldn't make a Hulk movie, so they did that movie.
Yeah.
But is that the same guy?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That's given.
Yeah. So Ivanova sees that this shuttle's going. And they're like, we need to send somebody after this person. So they send
the back scratcher. He needed to scratch somebody's back for that phone call he got to his boo thing on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Garibaldi.
Okay, there we go.
And wasn't Garibaldi like, he was like, if I go fast enough, maybe I can get behind them. The planet won't notice me.
Right.
Because the planet is going to shoot down anybody else, but it's not shooting at Londo. Because I think because Drawl is on it and it recognizes him. I'm sorry, Varn. I keep saying Drawl. It recognizes Varn and all.
The symbiotic alien.
Next host be like, come on, Drawl. We got a hot sheet for you.
Yeah. A battle begins over Babylon 5 with the aliens and the Hyperion and Babylon 5. You know, that.
Who threw the first rock in that fight?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I have to watch that again. Our audience is
anyone
into that.
I don't think any shots were fired.
It was just happening.
It was kind of like, hey, y'all got someone going down and y'all told us not to put anyone down there. And it was a verbal fight. They were still like at a Cold War stage.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And basically, like, this is a whole action part of the series, of the episode.
There had to have been something that triggered Sinclair. No.
What it was, remember the alien ship came out of the jump gate. It warned them, and then they split up into 3 ships approaching the planet, and the Hyperion was going to intercept them. And I think they started shooting at that point because it's like, we just gotta go.
That's because the captain came back and was like, Commander, we need Babylon, who a few minutes ago we didn't care that we was about to sacrifice y'all. But we need y'all back in this fight because they got us outgunned.
They're like, y'all want to work on the same team now. I'm like, you're supposed to always be on the same team.
Right. He's trying to use all his assets that he has available. And he's still operating under the assumption that he can just do it. And I believe, so Sunday looked it up. I believe you found out that a captain is technically ranked above a commander, right?
Yes.
So he does have the right to demand all this stuff. But in the context of the show, he's a jerk. So Captain Sinclair is doing all that he can to stifle that. So while that's going on, the folks on the Centauri ship, they make it down. They make it down pretty quickly. They make it to the chamber pretty quickly too. My criticism was in the previous episode, it took the humans a long time to get there. They had booby traps and all this stuff. Now all that stuff is turned off. When they get there, Garibaldi also is following behind them, so he joins them. Garibaldi has on this methane mask protector thingy. Is really big and bulky. But the aliens have like these things just sticking in their noses with tubes. And I just thought that was pretty interesting because the Sinclair and the Minbari, all their stuff looked the same. Maybe it came from the Centauri. Maybe it came from the Centauri because they were on his ship.
Oh yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Listen, yeah, they probably just had other stuff, and that was what Garibaldi was using. What he got from his ship, the human technology.
Yeah,
and they had Londo's technology.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and his species is a lot more adapt to conquering and exploring other planets.
Yeah, they are the jerks of the galaxy.
The colonists,
the colonizers, the colonizers of the galaxy, the Centauri. But Varn, what he does, he messes around with the computer, and you see a wave go by. Like the air around him is waving. He goes, "There, I made a pocket of air for y'all," so they could all take off their masks. That was interesting. I think they mainly did it because they need to see those actors' faces without them being obstructed. So that was a cool way to explain it, because otherwise they'd just be in that place with a helmet on, and you can't really emote through a helmet.
Right. And also because her friend was going to be staying there. One of them was going to stay there. They had to change the environment for him to be able to live there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
Because can't live there for 500 years breathing the wrong air.
Yeah, because like Varn didn't whatever the planet's atmosphere was, he could just breathe it. They had to make a special atmosphere for him in the med bay.
Yeah.
And
we mentioned that that planet was probably terraformed. And
okay.
In the first recording, we had a nice little discussion about how there can be planets without a solar system.
Yeah.
What did they call? I forgot already.
They call them rogue planets. Nita helped us understand it.
Yeah.
Good research, Nita.
She helped us understand about exoplanets and rogue planets, and it was really, really cool. Y'all should have been there. So while this is going on, they're like, okay, we need, like, Varn is like, I'm gonna die soon, and we need somebody to sit in this machine. And what I originally said was, as a one-way mission where the person has to self-sacrifice themselves in order for everyone else to achieve the greater good. Who does that sound like a lot?
Nominate Sinclair for tribute.
He definitely would have volunteered. And
however, Delenn is all like, we got something special for you, my boy. So we'll just stay up there.
At one point, I forgot exactly when. I think it was during the part that I called their little Cold War before shots were fired. What's his name? Sinclair got to have his Kirk moment, where it's like, I have this many people on this station that I need to protect.
Yeah.
You are not doing this. So I think if he had the opportunity, he would have been torn. No, he wouldn't have, because him going down there would have been protecting the so many million of people that were on the station.
And we always make this joke whenever there's a situation where it's a suicidal mission, one person only. Sinclair is kind of like running to the forefront, and we're just gonna keep pointing it out. Maybe he feels guilty about the Earth Minbari War and that he survived and all this and all that. But he didn't get a chance this time. And in fact,
No.
down there at the computer, it's like almost as soon as Varn suggested it, Drawl is like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. He's like, like I'm gonna
So old
stay.
and dusty, right? He
Right.
might as well.
Right. Which is interesting because Londo is right there. He's there. It's almost the thing that he wants to do the most, and he's just like, yeah, let this other old guy do it.
There's nothing decadent about becoming a part of a machine.
Right. In fact,
he can't enjoy the status of being a part of the machine. He can't throw it in other people's faces. He's just a part of a machine. Whereas the Minbari doing it, he has an internal motivation. Londo has no internal motivation. All of his motivation is external, which is part of the reason why I hate him.
Yeah. We had a discussion before about Drawl and how he was old, OLD, dusty. And he had said in the previous episode, like, I'm old. I think I'm gonna go to the Sea of Stars. And it's like, what does that really mean? We speculated, like, does that mean I'm gonna go die? And it doesn't really explain it, but it does sound like he is planning to just like end his life somehow. Like, I don't know if that means fly his fly his ship into a sun, or have himself spaced out of an airlock. Like,
they mentioned a little bit. This kind of is a throwback to the soul. What's the guy that was collecting the souls?
The Soul Reaper?
No, he had the machine where he was extracting people's souls and keeping them in the ship. Yeah, and she was like, no, they need to be released so that they are now a part of the universe, which is a philosophy that we have here on Earth, where, energy, when you die, your energy doesn't stop. It doesn't dissipate. It becomes new. It goes into new things. Your body becomes soil and becomes something new. Everything here comes something new. There's the whole the fact that sometimes the water that we drink was at one point dinosaur pee because it never goes away. It always recycles. So him dying is him rejoining all of the stars, and the stars, actually the birth of a star is where most molecules come from. The combination of molecules that come together that build on each other, and then the explosion that builds more and keeps creating the periodic table. So I felt like, for me, it was a scientific explanation of rejoining the universe. So yeah, he planned to die.
Well, from your explanation, I got something much darker. Like, is he gonna hook himself up to a machine that's gonna take his soul and then shoot that out into the universe?
No, I felt like dying, it just makes you, once again, a part. You are a part of the universe, but then when you die, you get distributed into a part of the universe. Like, it just automatically happens.
I'm diving into this whole Minbari culture thing, because remember displaying the body of the dead Minbari warrior was like not supposed to happen. They were supposed to do something else with their bodies.
They cremated it.
Yeah. All right, so the battle is going badly up top. Varn tells Drawl to get in the machine. Drawl does, and basically what he does is, his first act is he projects his image to all three of the factions that are fighting Babylon 5, the aliens, and the Hyperion. And he's like, look, I know you're fighting over this planet, but you ain't getting none of this. What did you say, Sunday?
I belong to myself.
Right.
And I triple dog dare y'all to run up on me again.
Yep.
Try me. And they did.
Yeah, he said don't even approach the planet. Anybody that tries to land is gonna get shot down. So the
Oh, I
Hyperion,
forgot the part about when Mel told us at the beginning that the planet did tell them to, that I belong to myself. I don't belong to the aliens that say that they have been looking for me for 500 years. I can't be colonized and I can't be stolen. Like, back up off me. Uh, and if you do, then you're going to be dealt with. Um, Freak, I forgot how Mel worded it at the beginning of the show. She was saying that
There's something out there that's beyond your understanding,
yes,
yeah,
and
yes,
you're
yes,
not ready for it because you're still
that
acting like
part.
toddlers.
Yes, thank you, Mel. Come through with the clutch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's half of my explanations for everything in this show. Because they throw temper tantrums, and it reminds me of work, so they're acting like toddlers.
This is genuinely how I feel about humans, though, and those that believe in um like a higher power, and then you kind of wonder, like, well, are there other planets out there? And it's like there are, but whoever created us already know that we're not mature enough to have friends right now. Like, why I'm gonna take you to play dates if you go bite people? Like, nah, I'm cool. We gonna wait until you mature a little bit, and then
Right, right.
we'll have play dates.
It's like I'm going to order Amazon Prime and Instacart until I know I can take you to the grocery store without me and the crying baby in the Walmart.
yeah, that's what the draw says. It's like there's stuff down here that any one species, if you got your hands on it, you will rule all others. And like that excites me because I'm like, man, it's just right there, right? But he says you're not ready for it, so nobody can have it. And like Sunday said, and this is what I wanted to point out, it's I am my own. The planet is its own. So you can't be controlled by the aliens. You can't be controlled by the military. Babylon 5 doesn't want to control it. It wants to help like use diplomacy to kind of steer people away from it, but that doesn't matter either. It's like I am my own. I don't belong to any of you. And he gave the warning: if you approach it, you're going to be shot down. So the aliens immediately approach it, and I wanted Nita's reaction on this too because I wanted this out. That the aliens approach, lasers shoot through the alien ships, and just vaporize those ships. Like there's explosions, but the ships just go away.
Control Alt Delete.
Jesus.
Return to sender.
Right. I guess they can't have anyone finding debris because then they send more ships trying to figure out how to get down to the ship, like to the
And they're
planet.
way too wise to litter. Come on now.
I mean, yeah. All that sounds great. I think they just saved on their effects budget.
Considering they use computer graphics though. It's not like they had to actually break up or make new parts in order to have like all of the little bits out there. They could just program it into the computer. I don't know what computer graphics was like back then, but
Terrible.
like in animation,
Yeah.
it's a computer animation. In animation, at any point in animation's time, you can do a lot more than you can do with physical effects. Because like if you have a ship that you gotta blow up, then you have to make the pieces of
one
it
by one
floating and breaking up.
Yep.
That takes a lot more time. And when I watched a small documentary on Babylon 5 and the creation stuff, they said to save on budget, they use computer graphics. So they probably did that on purpose. They had to have done it on purpose because
like
there's
Nita said, got it.
yeah, they had to like make there be no evidence that there's anything down here because y'all ain't ready to know that there's anything down here.
Y'all ain't ready for this. I said, y'all ain't ready for this.
Oh. So we get to the end of the episode. The conflict is resolved. The Hyperion is not gonna go towards it. Sinclair is relaxing. He's like, look, I knew I was right
He's
about this.
granted the permission from the president or something, yeah?
Yeah, because Pierce is like, hey, remember how I was acting all tough before? My bad. Look, the president told me that you had all the power. My bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was, I was just following orders. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We still good, right? And Sinclair is like, apology accepted. He was like, I'm glad that you are apologizing to me because I ain't giving you no power. And what happens with Garibaldi Sunday?
Oh, wow. Poor little Tink Tink. He came back and got that phone call, yeah, and his girl looking good, even from the hospital. I mean, I don't know who's doing her hair and makeup in the hospital, but if I ever go in, I'm gonna need to call that team and keep me fly, right? So she tried to save my boy and be like, yo, hold on. And he's like, no, let me get this out. I love you and I should have never left you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm just so sorry that I abandoned you to have to fight for food on Mars and then take a stray bullet and end up in the hospital. I'll do anything to have you back. And she like, boy, I'm married with a baby on the way. I need you to tone it down. And his heart is broken in a million pieces. And she do the cha-cha or the merengue. Which one is it, babe, where you do the stomping?
Merengue on top of his heart.
Yeah. Correct.
Also, she mentions the guy's name. His name is Fraz, which I know a Fraz.
And they probably dance the merengue where they name people from.
I don't know. The Fraz that I know is from where's he from? Saudi Arabia or Iran? Something like something. I'm
you
not
don't
100%.
really know that person.
I do know him. He's into pro wrestling. He has a tag team. They have titles. It's pretty awesome. He runs a school.
So they crawl up on the top rope and
No,
then
oh
they
my God. Maggie is his sister-in-law, by the way.
What?
Yes.
Yes, from Tika House. Shout out to Little
So
Restaurant.
you calm
your
your shenanigans down.
So they take the hearts and they put them in a cauldron of boiling water.
So basically, Garibaldi is heartbroken again. He get the hard-boiled cop situation again. Never can find the love of his life or whatever.
Back to the bar he goes. I mean, he is in love with that bottle.
On the observation deck, Garibaldi is hanging out and Delenn approaches him and she's like, they're sharing a moment and Garibaldi's like, why didn't you just tell everyone what you and Draw learned? And she's like, look, if I told people what I had learned, Sinclair would have been the one to insist on becoming the new Guardian. He would have sacrificed himself like he always does. And she was like, no, I can't have that because his destiny lies elsewhere. And it's very interesting that she says that because she has some very specific plans for Sinclair. And she knows that Londo will eventually call in a favor. So that's pretty interesting, right? There's some things being set up here. And Garibaldi's is like, all right, well, cool, good night. And Delenn is just sitting there staring off at the planet, which, okay, this makes me think Delenn kind of knew a lot of that was going on in the first place. And it just, I'm so intrigued. Like, what does she not know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like they had to have picked that planet for a reason to put that station there, other than the jump gate. But then they built the jump gate. Like,
yeah.
So like, somebody picked that planet.
The Minbari had to be involved in all of that. Right?
Right. I didn't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep watching.
I'm gonna keep watching, but the more and more I think about it, it's like the Minbari had to be involved. Well, Babylon 5 was built for diplomacy. The Minbari were involved with the whole planning of it, and they to the point where they chose the station commander.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that seems that it had to have happened on purpose.
That's just above my pay grade. That's all I'm saying.
I understand that. I hope that I can remember this later when it becomes relevant. We'll talk about it because these are breadcrumbs. I'm just letting you know these are little bitty breadcrumbs. Things the Minbari knows things, and there are reasons they know these things, and it's like the land is very like she's very shady, but she's doing the '90s mystic thing. She's not telling the whole truth, but she's using some very flowery language around what she is telling. And I just think it's pretty interesting.
Because you could mistake what she said for his destiny is to be commander of the station and not all the other stuff that she supposedly knows that no one else knows.
Right.
And Garibaldi, being as simple as he is, probably took it that way. Like, no, we need him on the station. Because that's how he feels.
Yep.
Like he thought that his ex was supposed to like wait for 3 years for him when he doesn't say anything after he left her. He left, didn't say nothing, did not a letter, not a communication, no nada, until you thought she was dead, and not that like y'all could just work things out because you didn't like that you left her. Now, like
entitlement,
right?
center stage, please. Where he just like vomits his feelings and didn't even have any probing questions to like check the temperature. You just gon' run back to me, girl. I'm glad she broke his heart. Clown.
I've had that happen before. I've literally had that happen before. But they had the decency to ask me, was I seeing someone first?
Wow.
Yeah, because they wasn't that slow. High five to them.
They weren't that slow, but they were slow enough to like pop in your life, several years later.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up, Mel? You seeing somebody? Oh, my bad. Never mind.
Yeah, engineering in the back. My bad.
No, they ask how he's doing because they know that I have a kid, and they're like, "Yeah, how?" He asked that first. Like, it's literally a guy I went to high school with. He waits like 20 years to ask me out, and I'm like, "You've known me since we were 16, and now you want to act interesting?" Okay.
I think we're all experiencing something like that at one time or another. This sounds very familiar. I'm having some deja vu.
What? What do you mean?
Of Mel's experience of, people saying, when we was 12 years old, I had a crush on you. It's like, wow, and you're telling me now? That's great. Like you've said that before too, love.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, but the person did speak to me without like expecting anything specific. However,
because they're not male with their male entitlement. I'm sorry, we can cut that part out.
That's fine. No, I'm gonna leave it in. I'm gonna leave it in. We're gonna alienate all of these entitled people. What was I gonna say?
Yo, I couldn't get off mute fast enough.
What were you gonna say, Nita?
He's gonna leave it in.
Oh my god. Yeah. Let's look. Well, I was gonna say I had somebody. I have in the past had people message me. Oh, I had a crush on you, and blah blah blah. I'm like, why didn't you say nothing then? And there's like, I thought you liked somebody else. I'm like, oh, okay, so no, it's very silly. Besides, what I'm gonna say the same thing that I said before. Like I was a different person back then. Who knows what our relationship would have been like? Yada yada yada. Garibaldi is a jerk though. Like he only thought about that woman when Mars was under attack, but he left when he just left her. What was it?
Jerk.
The when Sinclair when Sinclair asked him, "Would you like to go to Babylon 5?" and they had a fight. This dude was just like, "Well, I'm gonna go to Babylon 5 anyway," and it had been 2 years. Would any of y'all try to talk to somebody, like rekindle, or even have a conversation with somebody after 2 years?
I don't do nothing in reverse, okay? All gas, no brakes.
So
Not if they left like that.
right.
Like if I understood you like necessarily have to, but he literally was like bros before hoes.
Wow.
And just it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna go find someone else if that's how you're gonna feel. Like,
Now,
you know.
hold on, check this. Now, there has been an occasion where a love of my life, we are not together anymore. And it is my fault. And if that person came back into my life and, initiated anything, I would give that a try. But I'm not gonna burn somebody like, and who knows what amount of tears this person has cried uh, because of how I hurt them, and then just like assume that they're gonna be excited to see me.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I,
wild.
I mean, yeah, it depends on the situation. Like I have an ex that like we broke up because what we wanted out of life were completely contrast. And I wished him well. I wished him to have what he wanted, which was something that I didn't want it. I think he should have it. It's not a bad thing. But like there's no hard feelings. He was to come back later, I would be okay with that. At this point, no, because like he's got married and the woman had a kid. Obviously not with him because he's black and the kid is full white. But he got the life that he wanted to. So like I can't be mad because I let him go for that.
Yeah, and I ain't mad about my situation either because I'm currently living my best life and not 4 kids deep in Japan. I mean, I think visiting Japan would be cool, but I don't know about the 4 kids part.
But I do think that is the difference. Garibaldi's ex had a child on the way. This dude picked literally the absolute worst time
Right.
to do anything. To do anything. He left at the worst
And
time. He called her back at the worst time.
yeah,
Garibaldi
because like
sucks.
he they had that episode where the girl from Mars, where we've learned that he worked on Mars, because the girl that was the friend of his, he was friends with the girl's father. That whole situation, like you didn't remember her then, you did all, and then him thinking, him like being mad that there's no communication between Mars, like it's the communication there is supposed to simply be there. He was shocked that it's not, which means you always had the opportunity to talk to her and you
Right.
didn't.
And he didn't.
So yeah.
He only decided to when he couldn't and wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So
Okay,
he's
now break the rules
self-sabotaging.
again.
He's
Got it.
self-sabotaging.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna wait until I can't talk to you, then I'm gonna talk to you. And I'm saying that in like 3 ways. He's not supposed to. Nobody's supposed to let him. And she's pregnant with somebody committed in her life, and she doesn't want Garibaldi. But he had to expect that, right? No,
No,
I don't know.
Oh.
babe, I'm sorry. You have worked on um the trauma that is being born male, and you clearly don't think with the entitlement that most of them do. He thought he totally had a shot and everything was gonna be fine.
Oh my god.
He approached it as though he had a shot.
Jeez.
Like all of a sudden she might be dead. Oh yeah, I should have kept in touch with her. Let me go do that.
Oh jeez.
All
All right, we got to get off of this whole thing of Garibaldi's personal relationships. The overall, like we pointed this out earlier, the overall conflicts where who's going to control what, and then the what decided like nobody's going to control me. And I wanted to point this out. This is kind of like the whole conflict of Babylon 5. Like who's going to be in control. That will become more evident in season 2. And once we realize what the entire series is all about. and how it plays out. You'll see. And then the conclusion of it. But that's gonna happen in season 4. In the meantime, I hope you all are enjoying this. I'm having a lot of fun talking about it. Is there anything else y'all want to say about it before we get out of here?
I want to just thank all of my other hosts. I'm not sure what our titles are, but yesterday was such an amazing recording. I was feeling the pressure to do this again today, and it just went amazing. I know we haven't been recording for a while, and I'm just so thankful for the chemistry that we have. See y'all later.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you to all my hoes, my bitches,
Oh my God.
my something else's, my side piece and my desserts, can't forget my appetizers.
Oh no.
Peace out.
Desserts. Okay. Your pastries. No, sorry.
My pastries, my croissant.
Okay, go ahead, Mel.
I agree with the sentiment. I was really glad that after the break that we could just have the same chemistry we had before the break, even though we did kind of sort of keep in touch. But I was actually nervous that I would have to figure out how to get back into the flow. But I went into the flow very easily, and that means I'm comfortable, and that doesn't happen that often.
I think you're doing great. Honestly, I think all of y'all are very amazing. I like the chemistry. I think we're figuring this out, and it's gonna only get better.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's get out of here. This was another episode of Voices in Hyperspace. We'll see y'all next time. Be sure to check us out on all of your places you get podcasts, except for Google Podcasts, because that's going to end in April. So get off of that and get on something else. I suggest Spotify, but there's also Apple Music, YouTube Music, the YouTube channel. And you can check us out on TikTok. Mel, can you tell people where people can find you?
You can find me on TikTok, actually, you can find me on www.melsrebellion.com, and where all my social medias have links. Also, the Voices of Hyperspace here has a link there too, and links to Amazon where you can find my books.
Nice. And any cool things happen with Nita and Sunday?
Oh, Nita. Sunday been in witness protection for too long. Tell them where they can find me at, girl.
They can find Sunday minding her damn motherfucking business.
Or
I don't know where they can find
elephant
you.
in the room.
Oh, shoot! Duh. Yes. The Elephant in the Room was launched recently. If you want to talk about things that nobody else want to talk about, but you want to, confront the elephant, come join us. We do our things over Zoom. We do have a Facebook group called The Elephant in the Room. Right now, it's just on Facebook, but we are collaborating with each other on Zoom. So disseminating the information on Facebook, everybody get together on Zoom. You can find me at Nita Painter on Facebook, Nita Painter on Instagram, Nita Painter on TikTok, NitaPainter.com. If you see me walking around these streets of La Mesa, I say what's up to your girl. I'm gonna stop. I'm hungry. That's what it is.
You're wonderful, but I also want to let everybody know, if you really like podcasting and you ever wanted to talk to your podcast host, then check out The Elephant in the Room. Because if you got things to say, we would love to hear your voice. We want diverse opinions, and not for y'all to just be listening to us jabber on, which we clearly can't do. But we want to hear from you too, so check us out.
That sounded like a really good commercial, so I'm going to turn it into one. That sounds awesome. But all right, let's get out of here. Thank y'all very much for joining us for Voices of Hyperspace. Be sure to check us out next week. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.